Okay, well, we live.
One of them late Baptists is coming in here.
You know I'm coming from 220.
We live.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to get them out of it. It was good.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, Summer Wild.
Hey, go ahead on and tag and share. Let's get everybody in.
Come on, now, you can't be blocking up if you're on TV.
Pull up, Vaughn. Pull up so we can get you in.
Vaughn,
pull up.
Sit like that. Ain't nobody want to see you.
Nobody want to see me. They want to see me.
I wish it was a feature where you could zoom in or zoom out.
We got to come here.
Make it work. You have to put not your head.
I think we have everybody good.
Oh, no, you.
Everybody good, right?
Everybody in there.
I mean, I'm good.
Everybody in there. Everybody.
She just worried about her part. Whether I
No, I'm good regardless. I'll be back here. I'll be back here. They can hear my voice. They ain't got to see my face.
We good, but I good.
Good.
Everybody good.
Hey, you ain't got to see my face. Hey, people.
Come on.
Are they on?
Yeah.
Is we live? Hey, y'all. Good afternoon. Good evening. Happy Wednesday.
Coach said he gonna whoop some tail. I was coming up with my Howard hat on, but I had me.
Okay.
I'm gonna just walk in there and shake all y'all rattles up. I know y'all ain't want none of these bison.
I reminded them on Facebook about the last time we played
Trick
Howard.
play.
It was Howard Homecoming. Remember that? The president paid for the March to 100 to come. So, you know, fam, you had they side and the end zone. Remember that? And he right in the middle of FAMU with the Howard stuff on. Raising, you know what? It was a fact. That was one of the best games.
Oh, wow.
So you know what we're coming like.
Wow.
Don't let Bob come here with no fairy tales. Now, is we sitting on the shade side of the state or are we in the sun?
What you talk about? Because fam, you gonna be in the shade. Howard gonna be right in that sun.
That don't work.
That sun ain't gonna.
We coming around with y'all. We is not gonna be out there talking.
Hey, go ahead on the tag and share. Let's get everybody in today. We still talking FAMU forward. Let's get everybody in. Let's tag. Let's share.
Here is where you wanna be.
That's you singing?
Oh, no, that means that's crazy. What's her new last name?
Oh, she married? That's what you call her, Detroit sister. That's Detroit sister.
They say. Hey, my brother, I'm on the air. Could you call me back when I'm done?
And now here's your host, Greg Kane.
Want to say good afternoon and once again, welcome to, that's right, it's Hallelujah 95.3. And hey, you know, we at it again. I mean, if we going FAMU forward, we might as well bring in some of the main drivers that drive FAMU forward. And I'm here once again with none other than the country. See, how are you?
I'm good. We sitting in front of these torch bearers. It feel kind of hot. Like it's getting kind of heated up in here. Ain't nobody saying nothing yet.
And we ain't even got started.
We ain't even saying nothing. Just getting kind of hot.
Hey, listen, I'll tell you, if you're tuned in live, go ahead on and tag, share. For those of you on all of our social media platforms, hey, go ahead on and tag and share. We are really, really excited about this show today. Last week, we had an opportunity to talk to the interim. It was transitioning time. Dr. Timothy Beard was with us, and an amazing conversation.
Amazing conversation. And one thing I really appreciate about Dr. Beard is that he continued to put forward and maintain the energy of promoting the university over his own self. He put the facts out about the school. He put the facts out about the state of the school when he came in. He's like, look, fam, you wasn't a mess. I just came in and took over during a time of need. He said, and he has been able to maintain and to do what he has to do with the help of the FAMU community, with the help of the constituent base. And he reaffirmed that in this transition and to the new administration, as well as to the community, he said we have to move forward together, which is where we came up with the topic, FAMU forward.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it's good to see that in a time where people tend to use polarizing issues for their own selfish benefit. He maintained his decorum. He maintained his his temper, and just said, hey, it's bigger than us. It's bigger than how we feel. Let's see how we can move this community forward and this institution forward.
And I mean, I walked away very compelled to do whatever is necessary to help in the forward progress. One of the things that he said that meant a lot to me was that we never know what the plan of God is, and what we have to be able to do is align ourselves. And so it was an amazing conversation, and here we are. 7 days later, we're faced with a lot, and we're going to be able to talk to some amazing giants who can help lend conversation to an amazing eye-opener that kind of like shocked all of us. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, the word embarrassment. We're going to talk about a little bit about that.
So we're going to get away from the word alleged.
No, this is not alleged. I mean, this was in black and white. We don't have to protect ourselves on this. But certainly we're delighted to have joining us today two powerful voices in our community, two torchbearers. They bleed orange and green. And so let's introduce to our audience who's joining us today.
Well, I mean, if you're within our listening audience and beyond, then you know Vaughn Wilson, who is the CEO and president of Mega Ace Media, who is not only just active in the space of media, he's also an advocate. And I don't know if he meant to be one, but journalism folks tend towards advocacy. And his work and his contributions to not just HBCU Game Day, but also his contributions to Capital Outlook and many other media sources. I think to have someone that understands how to translate into print advocacy, truth, facts, and to translate factual data into action, he has been a running example of that. And FAMU is blessed to have such an advocate. He's coming here hot off the 220 Quarterback Club over at the new Enrichment Center, the Primitive Baptist Association Enrichment Center. So we're glad to have you coming hot off that meeting, and I'm sure you real hot.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here.
Glad to be here.
So bringing you in real quick before we introduce our next torchbearer, talk to me about the energy at the meeting today.
The energy at the meeting today was amazing. My message was, no matter what's going on at the university, our job is to support the student athletes and the coaches. And our founder, Eddie Jackson, was adamant about that we not bring the politics of the university into those meetings at all. So we don't even mention it. We continue to do our mission because despite all of that, we're still going to field the team on Saturdays. And we need those football players, those volleyball players, those tennis players to have what they need. So that's our purpose. And if the mission of it was never important, it was very important today to stick within our mission of ignoring what is going on the political side of the university.
Yes, absolutely. And keeping in that spirit, we have none other than our District 1 Leon County Commissioner, our Commissioner, William Bill Proctor, who is definitely a torchbearer and a professor at the university and a prime trash talker and all of the things necessary to curate a meaningful community engagement and enlightenment. We are so proud to have you.
Where the fans at? Put some noise on, bro. Where the background sound? Hey, what's up?
He wants some hands clapping, y'all. He looking for some band playing in the
I don't know
background.
how to step up to the mic in such echo chamber silence like this right here. You know, I'm here, y'all. I come to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth today. And I thought y'all were gonna let me in the conversation. Y'all two just took off like, well, we got this today. And me and Lola Vaughn sitting here. And Christy gonna introduce us. What's gonna happen? Then Vaughn coming here talking about FAMU, about the FAMU versus the Rattlers, and insulting all of our integrities and stuff like that. But man, I thought we were gonna tell the truth, the whole truth. Vaughn Wilson step up here and talk about what FAMU gonna do to Howard and all that. I'm about to walk out of here. Where's my paycheck here?
Just
I'm about
remember the truth is Howard sitting on the hot side of that stadium.
See, now that right there is unfair. That's not hospitable at all. Invite us down here from Washington to sit down there in the Orange Bowl. That thing called down. And
Hard
sit
rock.
in the sun.
In the sunshine.
Hard rock.
Welcome to the Sunshine State.
35 degrees.
And that's the first game.
Yeah, first game.
First
Welcome to the Sunshine
And
State.
then he done gone that to the 220 there. They're selling whoop tickets. I ain't even go by there today.
So,
'cause
so,
I know.
so those of you who are tuned into the broadcast, this really was a setup to get beer here.
I need my paycheck. I'm like, walk out.
Hey, but listen, as always, man, we really excited about you all being here.
Absolutely.
And I listen, social media is dying laughing.
And
You
you
got they dying laughing.
Hey.
But
you
turn my phone down.
But certainly, the first game is kicking off in September, and it's FAMU versus Howard.
they ain't ready.
Ain't ready.
Ain't ready.
Okay, so
Next game.
let's talk about basically let's look at where we are. But before we go there, I want to look at our interim president. Today was the day that he was in Orlando. As a matter of fact, he's probably tuned into the broadcast now as he's traveling. But your observation, Vaughn, and then Bill,
Dr. Beard, from day one when I met him, the first time I met him, he actually came to the 220 quarterback club. And he was a wholesome guy. That's when you realize he was a spiritual guy. He donated about $1,000 that day to the cause because he realized what we were about. And it was just a familiarity with him the first time you met him. You know, when you meet somebody and they seem familiar, predictable. And every time I met him from then on, it was just a great relationship. And I thought he was good for the university. You don't want an interim to come in and start trying to remake the university. That's not their job. Their job is to hold the university down until a permanent comes in. I thought he did an excellent job of that. It was very transparent to the point where you don't hear a lot about what he did in his time there. That's because that's what happens when you maintain. It's not for him to make any wholesale changes. That is for the permanent president. Interim is to hold the university in place, do little things that need to be done. Sometimes these things can't wait. But for his time there, I thought he did an absolutely amazing job. Not only as president, but connecting with the Rattler Nation. I think that's important in that leadership, that you can actually connect with the Rattler Nation, and he did a great job of that.
Wow, in a short period of time.
In a short period of time.
And
Well, there's no doubt that Dr. Beard was a total accident that happened for FAMU in a good way. At this particular board, known that Dr. Beard had the expertise, the leadership, his connectivity with the community, and all of the attributes that he brought. He was far beyond and exceeded what this particular board would appreciate in president. But for the manner in which he came here, I doubt if he could have ever made an application and gotten to be the president, to be the permanent president. This board is not looking for his quality. He far exceeds their anticipation. And the good thing, and what I'm saying, is that he's not going to be controlled. He's not going to be manipulated. He's going to be the president, notwithstanding the errant desires of a board that has gone awry. And I think that to the extent that he's distinguished himself, as Vaughn has said, in his connectivity with the community, with the students, with the faculty, with everybody, we may likely not see a person given 365 days and see this effectiveness occur ever again.
Wow. I mean, one of the things that I think all of us can agree on is that his level of service was with such a great spirit of humility.
Can I tell a story? I just got on that line. So we're down at Reverend Monticello, moderator.
Manning.
And I think it was September of last year, we went down there to the conference that moderator Manning is holding. So bringing greetings, various people from the community, boom, boom. So I got up right in front of Dr. Beard. It's my time to bring greetings, and we're glad to have you all in District 1, and so glad that all of you here. Manning is doing a great job, and we know that God is going to walk heavily in our midst. And I thought I had all my speech down together. I sat down. President Beard gets up next, and as fate would have it, he got up with a hymn.
He did not sing the hymn.
Whoo! He got up and said, I said, what?
Have mercy.
And what I'm trying to tell y'all is that everybody was stunned because we never seen a president from FAMU come down to St. John down in Bond in line of him.
Come on now.
And but for the fact that everybody had a frog in the throat, we were stuck. The church didn't really get with him. We just listened to him. You know, like, what? Hey, he killed it, man. I said, I'm so glad that I went first. And they let me go first because I couldn't have come behind that. He tore it up, knocked it down, stomped on it. What else can you do? Punched it. He killed it, man. I'm telling you. And that's that a relatability, connectivity in a church setting that no family president have I ever seen. And I followed him to be in several church settings where he just nails it. And it takes us to a new audience. It expands the base, the perception of those who perceive FAMU.
Right.
I have to say those things. I'm glad you allowed me to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's important. I mean, we're on a faith radio station, and basically, they need to know that. Christy, let's get ready to dive into something that I feel like has really rocked many of us. I mean, those of us who know him, we know him from our own personal encounters. We know him from a distance, those who are listening to us through our social media, through the airways. But to come to a place of looking at the Board of Trustees, and I mean, shouts out to another FAMU, Brian Lamb, who's on the Board of Governors. He's the chair. Bill, why are you looking like that?
I want you to distinguish he's a baby rattler.
Yeah, he's a baby rapper.
Yeah, he didn't go to FAMU.
Yeah, he's a baby rapper.
Yes, sir.
Like all of us.
Christine ain't got no baby rattler.
I married the one. Leave me alone.
Oh, she got grandfathered in.
Yeah. Okay.
Glory.
So now we're looking at the Board of Trustees for the university.
Right.
I want you to lead us into that conversation.
Well, I mean, you know, so the question for me as a student of political science and a student of politics is, what is the role of the Board of Trustees? Because in my mind frame and looking at the way that it's set up in the state university system, it's to be a board that is to serve as a conduit of advocacy between state government and the institution. And so the question I would have is mission being served? Second of all, and in terms of the tenor of today's conversation, what are they doing? You know, I guess I got to ask them regular first. I mean, I can say it flowery, but what is going on that you have such a magnified presence of a board of trustees? And I say this in context. 5 years ago, you didn't hardly hear about 5-10 years ago, the Board of Trustees functioned as a support board. In my mindset from then, I didn't hear half of the craziness that seems to now be kind of surfacing now. So I guess that's my question as I'm looking at two torchbearers. Talk to me about the mission of the Board of Trustees and what is happening, because it had to be a buildup. Just this can't be just random.
Well, let me just say this. It's amazing that we're here in Live Communications office building that houses both the radio station and the Capital Outlook, because my dad for years wrote his columns in the Capital Outlook. And if you look back on it, a lot of it was about the Board of Trustees, because the FAMU Board of Trustees does not operate like most boards.
Right.
Most boards are transparent. At Florida State, I think Derek Brooks is on their board. They get in and have meetings, and it's organized. They've gotten with the people from the university, so they come in on one accord and basically take votes. But unfortunately for FAMU, for several years, our board of trustees has been too much into the business of running the day-to-day operations of the university and doing what the purpose of the board is to develop policy for the university and hire the president. No other people at the university can they be involved, or are they supposed to be involved in? Let me say, are they supposed to be involved in? But unfortunately, with our board, it's almost like our board runs the university, and that's not how it's supposed to be. They're supposed to develop policy, hire a president, and let that president run the university, hire personnel, be over personnel. The different people from the university can answer to the board, but the board cannot give directives to other people in the board. That has to go through a chain of command from the president. Which means if they wanted an audit of athletics, they would have to tell the president, we want an audit of athletics. They can't go to the athletic director and say, we want an audit of athletics. So this is why what we're seeing is so much weirder than you can even imagine, because they're not supposed to be involved in the day-to-day operations of the university. They set policy, approve contracts, all those types of things. And the reason they approve contracts is because, just for example, something happens on campus, they're going to sue FAMU and the board of trustees. So they have to approve virtually every contract that comes through, especially after it elevates to a certain level. But what we are seeing from our board and the things we are seeing from our board are an anomaly to FAMU.
Well, the late Mr. Wilson, Roosevelt Wilson, has written on and on about board, its protocol, its procedures, its interaction with university leadership. Your father wrote numerous pieces about the board. He talked about their need for retreat for their training, because back in them years, I believe Reverend Holmes was on that board when
Barney Bishop
and Corbin was
Herbert Corbin.
Yeah, yeah.
Wrote a whole lot about that. So I mean, it's worth returning to his admonitions, and it certainly would guide the current board if they took a page from the late Mr. Roosevelt Wilson's book.
And so to echo what you both have just said, and based upon the statutory description, the FAMU Board of Trustees is the governing body for Florida A&M University, responsible, as you said, for policymaking and overseeing the university's overall direction. Their core mission is to ensure the university fulfills its educational and public service mission while safeguarding the interests of its stakeholders. You said that very, very, very well. But that includes, as you stated, selecting, retaining, and potentially replacing the university president, as well as establishing policies for the institution. So you're right, policy making, presidential oversight, but this is where it gets kind of crazy. Some of their mandate is for stakeholder representation, financial stewardship, strategic planning, and community engagement. And from the outcry of the process that we've just been in, what's your reaction to that?
It goes exactly against what you said. It goes exactly against the interest of the community for the university. The community is who is out crying now. It is the community who they are not servicing as a whole. I say as a whole because there are dissenters. There are some who are not going along with whatever seems like a plan or pattern or whatever you want to call it for the dissension that we've seen on the board, the haphazardness on the board, the embarrassing things that we've seen come from our board. And those things are not in the interest of the stakeholders. The alums are crying out against so many of these things. So that's when you have to wonder, are they fulfilling their assignment as board of trustees?
But let's look at something else.
Okay.
Notwithstanding all the things you described about our board, for 6 years in a row, FAMU is still the #1 HBCU.
Mhm.
Over the last year or two, FAMU climbed into the top 100 public universities out of 12 or 1,300 in the United States. And it went from in the top 90s and now is at number 81. Notwithstanding all these clownish and clowning features, it has performed under the leadership, the administrative leadership, distinguished and separate from the board. We have still performed greatly. And I think that when Dr. Beard last week was asked what happens next with respect to the incoming leadership, and he said that we've got to remember to keep the main thing, and that's educating students. And I do believe that when we get into the classrooms, every instructor, every teacher, every professor is going to give their utmost best in the classroom. So the quality of education and educating will not be diminished irrespective of this board. And we have achieved high marks. We is the #1 HBCU period, notwithstanding this board. So if this administration can keep a firewall between its next chairman and this board, and continue to allow the university to exceed and to succeed at the high level it does, and I just want us to focus that we still #1. Okay,
Right.
we #1, and in spite of
Mhm.
we're #1. So that speaks to leadership that has been effective, has been working, notwithstanding the people who govern them.
And then add to that, last month, Forbes named FAMU the #1 online college
Mhm.
Out of all.
out of all, maybe, I don't know, but it became the #1. Forbes magazine named FAMU the #1 online college.
And
Number one.
So
Do people know who Forbes is?
the Forbes, I think they know who Forbes.
Oh, they do know who Forbes.
But to your point,
Mhm.
despite all of these challenges, the core operation of the university
Right.
is intact.
That's right.
With all the changes they've been through, there are people at their university that care about it, that do a great job. And there are people there that my concern is that people there that are doing a good job might be in danger because of not following the political game plan or whatever that's going on.
Well, before we go there, we got to roll in that direction.
Mhm.
But I want to make sure that the magnitude of Florida A&M being number 81 in the top 100 public universities in the United States,
Mm.
where 70-some% of its students receive financial aid. And I'm talking about 70-some%, where the faculty is among the lowest paid in the state university system of Florida, where its students supposedly come from depressed homes and uncertain backgrounds and scores of this and that and that. Look, we're working with so-called marginal,
Mm.
background students. States in the University of Florida, their student household income exceeds 6 digits.
Mhm.
The average household income is over $100,000 for universities. In FAMU, the average student's household income is somewhere around $34,000, while between $30,000 and $40,000
Mhm.
average student household income.
Mhm.
And you're taking that. I mean, these are kids who've not been around the world in no way Paris is from Tokyo,
And no have trust fund.
all of that. And so when they go to the business school, you start talking about lines of credit, you start talking about big words in business. They didn't hear that at the dinner table, but yet, still, we're #1. That's the effort of a talented faculty taking raw material and transforming it and then lifting it up to heights that other universities not even, their students start at a different margin.
Mhm.
They're starting at a different space and place of their experience. It's almost like here as we begin school next week, that Southside children have somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 words coming in first grade. Northside students have somewhere between 12 and 13,000 words of recognition. That's the kind of distinction that we're talking about, that our students at HBC and FAMU, and yet we're in the top 100. So forget the board of trustees, they don't teach nobody. Forget the board of trustees, they ain't recruited nobody. Forget the board of trustees, they ain't gave no money. Hell, I don't know what they do, but I'm glad they out the hell out the way of what we do on a day-to-day on the highest of 7 hills. and I'm proud to be a part of that.
Wow. I mean, I think what you both of you said is so key. And I think Vaughn, you said it, you don't know whether there's a plan or pattern in place. But we do know that as of this week, we do know that the Board of Trustee voices became so vocal and so loud that it disturbed the community and the Rattler Nation and FAMU in such a way that if you're going to serve, then this attitude, this display of unprofessionalism can't be, especially when you're looking at a young man. And I don't know the young man.
Does he have a name?
Yeah, he got a name. His
Oh.
name is what is it? Gibbons? Gibbons. Allegedly. No, that's his name. But he's serving as the vice chair, and to come out this week in the local newspaper with an article stating that the president was a total embarrassment. And when we talk about embarrassment, I wanted to define that because I found it hard to put that word to the man that I knew. I mean,
The community last week had an event for Dr. Beard to thank him for his time there.
he didn't know about that, must be.
He didn't know that the community outpouring and to say thank you for maintaining. Dr. Beard did not get into 1 ounce of rhetoric. There was not one controversial thing that he did when he got there. Now, when he got there, he had to fire some people. There were some things wrong. So when that
But
comes
we
to
expected that.
you expect that with any administration. But ever since then, he has Dr. Beard relied on the people that were there for their expertise. One of the faces of FAMU is Carmen Cummings Martin. He elevated her to chief of staff because he realized her value to the university and to advise him in situations where he needed advice. What do you think the tenor of the university family is going to be on this? That's smart. That's one of the smartest things you can do is to, if you're trying to ingratiate yourself into an environment, bring somebody in who knows, and when you realize you gotta let them do their thing. He was well received everywhere he went. I mean, and I know we're short on time, but kind of like Commissioner Proctor's story, we were at a basketball game, and I do know that Dr. Beard is from Ocala, and then he grew up in Port St. Joe. And I had told him about a young lady from Port St. Joe, and he said, whenever you see her, I want to meet her. I'll bring her to my office. I saw her at the back, the young lady who was a student at the basketball game, brought her to Dr. They sat down there for 20 minutes where he told her about her mama, St. Tina in the church. In Port. She told that girl more about her mama than she ever wanted to know because they had that church relationship. Meanwhile, there are other people trying to reach it, Dr. Beard, he took his time with that student in the middle of a basketball game to make sure that connection was made. That's the person that I know, that I'm familiar with, that I saw over the time he was here.
And on top of that, I think that I applaud Dr. Beard because Joe Bullard, legend icon in our community, made transition and landed at FAMU in our Department of Journalism. And I just salute Dr. Beard for not leaving Joe in the rain. And I don't care what's said, but Joe Warrant should be a part of that radio station. Man, how many years he got? I mean, that was one of the great moves of a family president ever.
So we can look at what we have seen from the community. We can look at what Dr. Beard has done in his tenure there, but we see board members who say he's an embarrassment or he's the worst president I've seen in 20 years. I mean, and this guy's the vice chair, getting ready to become the chair with that kind of mindset. What does you feel that does to the community? We already have seen the outrage. Many people are saying he needs to resign, he needs to quit, he needs to throw in the towel.
Vaughn got his eyes closed like he was praying before he said it. Brother, you got your eyes closed. Is you
I'm crossing things off not to say it in my mind before it comes out of my mouth. But let me just say this. It was errant. It was unwarranted. It was a malicious attack that came out of nowhere. There were other people that had points where they said,
Wait, hold
well,
on.
could
Doc-
improve.
Evidently, Dr. Beard is listening. He just texted. He just texted one. He said her mom name was Patricia Allen.
That's right. That's right.
Hey,
And he told that girl all about her mom and her aunties and the whole family over there in Port St. Joseph.
Hey,
So what about herself?
So you see that line?
Yeah.
He took that time where everybody trying to grab at him, but he felt it important at that moment to have this conversation with that young lady who took a wealth of knowledge. Her mother passed. Let me just say that her mother passed about 12 years ago of cancer. So he told her, and so she was so young to know she could not possibly know these things if he didn't tell her.
Wow.
Mm.
Well,
So
big
that-
shouts out to Dr. Beard. Tuned in to Heaven. Hallelujah. 95.3.
But what I was trying to
Go
say
ahead.
about as we speak to the response that Gibbons made on the survey,
Mhm.
this is America. You are free to say and do whatever you want to do. That the last I checked, we still have that freedom.
Mhm.
But when the intent is that vicious,
Vicious.
you have to wonder. You have the right to say it, but should you have said that?
Mhm.
Or what was your motivation for saying that?
Mhm.
And that's what I think blindsided all of us in the FAMU Nation. This man is on his way out. He did a good job. There was not a single embarrassment he put our university on. He maintained the university. That's what an interim president does. It's not to make a name for yourself during that time.
Mm.
Keep it stable. We were stable. Everything stayed good. That was a true backstabbing evaluation.
Mm.
And that we cannot understand what make. I wish he'd elaborated on what he thought made Dr. Beard worse.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do you think it was personal? Do you think, I think you said something that is key, because I looked at some of the evaluations and I saw two other young men who seemed like they just followed in his path.
But none were as bad as that.
Right.
So like I said, it's freedom of speech. So if you thought he didn't do good at something, it's okay for you to put he didn't do something. But to have a complete damning, excuse me, Dr. Beard, but evaluation, where does that come from? And so if he was that bad and you're the board and y'all responsible for the president, why didn't y'all remove him?
Mm.
If he was that bad? If he was that bad, why didn't they remove him? That was never mentioned in any board meeting, that he wasn't doing what he was asked to do. Never. Not one single board meeting.
And why did he bring it up? I mean, and I've done some research just to find out who he was, because I don't know him, but I understand in my research he serves on two other boards at two other colleges. And they say, I mean, from me talking to people, and I went all out to find out who is this guy. I mean, what is it? I mean, they say over at St. Peter College. I mean, he almost just a wreck there. He's also the same way over at BCC.
Well, let me jump in, because y'all coming in with wonderful comments and JV level.
This is a faith radio station, okay?
Y'all, now that the JV has spoken on this, let the positive
come.
Yeah, let me
Come on,
tell you
Johnny
something.
Williams.
As long as this man is on the FAMU Board of Trustees, and in particular as its chairperson, the next incoming president don't have a snowball's chance to be effective, to do well. And the next president possibly could possibly do a decent job. But you can't, you got to decouple Gibbons from Marva Johnson if she has any chance. If Gibbons is on that board, as the chairman of that board, he singularly can sink and lower FAMU to depths it's not seen. He's toxic. He's what's that word? Bully. And I can't think of any viable talent that he brings to Florida University. And when you look at how he shepherded the selection process and how he bullied the selection process and how he conducted beyond the first 3 persons chosen, and they had a second vote and then a third vote to secure this president, the person he wanted. I've served on the canvassing board, which is the county commissioner, supervisor election, and a judge, and they referee all things voting and call the shots, blah blah. But if you're going to extend the voting once you've selected the top 3, you certainly don't extend the voting with only one name and everybody else on the ballot is not included in the extra rounds of voting. And then you do a second extra round of voting, and you still exclude everybody else on the ballot, and the polls is open past 7 p.m. And you want to know, but we got 50 some other candidates, but only one of them we're gonna try to get a few more votes for. Man, that is a violation of due process. And to all the candidates whose names were not brought forward in the second round, and then in that third round of balloting, they were not given equal protection or due process of law. And if that's the mindset of your leader, to do something so open, so willful, FAMU has no bright future with him in the room as a board member. Bill Proctor said it.
Well, I'm gonna have to echo what you're saying, Bill. I mean, right then, Vaughn, I thought he was dropping back for a Hail Mary out there every day. But I mean, I think
Is that an H-E-L-L?
but you're so right, and I think that there's so many people in our community, especially our faith leaders, who are really, really feeling some kind of way about what they read and how it's been displayed. I mean, I was reading some comments that came in the Democrat from Dr. Holmes. I think Dr. Holmes, he said he need to walk it out. He said he need to walk it back. You know, and I think that we have to make our voices known. We have to, you know, let the new president know that we're not happy with him making those kinds of statements. We've seen the process. And if, like you just said, if she has a chance of being successful, then there has to be some distance between how she views him and what her vision is for bringing victory. Did I just say that like that? How she views him and what her vision is for bringing victory to the campus.
But that goes back to the strength that she's got to have to stand up to the bully, the firewall, and the wherewithal she must have to implement a vision of what's in the interest of FAMU, the best interest of FAMU, instead of what's in the interest of one trustee member. Let's talk about trustees who served and now have become on the other side, and they are paid administrators at FAMU. Let's talk about serving on a board and cherry picking a post of which Dr. Palm served in, and you said, no, I want that job. I mean, there are a lot of issues that Mr. Wilson would have spoken to, and sitting there, it ought to be a cooling off period that when you served as a trustee member, that you can't just like, okay, your term ran out last Monday, but Tuesday morning, you become a new administrator over the spot that you just, see, if I leave the legislature, I've got to sit out a year. I can't lobby in front of the county commission if I quit. I'm out for 1 year, 2 years, whatever time cooling off period. You can't do that. But we see the ethics of these board members cherry picking posts within the university and stepping there to get what? Paid.
And who suffers behind it?
We're about to find out.
The people who depend on that job to do that position to be a good job, and then especially with a competent person as Dr. Palm was, which I was concerned. I became immediately concerned with Dr. Palm when alumni were promoting him, because I said, if he doesn't get it, he's a target. And that's exactly what we saw. During the election process, I was deafeningly silent during that process. The reason was that process didn't start then. The process started in the ballot box. As people didn't go vote and continued to let the strong Republican conservative agenda to keep going forward and to get more control, you have to take what happens to you when you lose like that. Unfortunately, there's not a lot you can do because they have the threshold to literally do when you've got the House, the Senate, and the presidency, or the House, the Senate, and the governorship. Just like we're experiencing with the Trump administration, we're experiencing with the DeSantis administration, they're almost unchecked. And you could lose a lot of sleep over things you have no control over because of that. Do you stop fighting? No. But you do have to realize where your position is, which is why when I saw this developing, it was automatic. I say it's going to be this, this, and this, because the conservatives are in control and they are doing what they want to do. My thing is this: if you want to stop being mad in the odd years, you got to vote in the even years. That's the only way.
I knew you was gonna say that. I don't know if that was a baby rapper. I felt that.
I gotta write that down.
Sometimes you can feel these things coming, and I felt that one coming.
Yeah.
Great job.
I think it's important for him to go there, right? Because the institution is bigger even than Rattler Nation, right? You're talking about an economic driver for a side of town that needs economic driving.
No.
You're talking about
not just the side of town. FAMU is the biggest black economic entity in the southeastern United States.
So let me go there. Right? And this is backed up with data, okay? This school generates over $1 billion in annual economic impact in Florida.
Oh yeah.
Let's because our listeners may not know this, right? They may not know that FAMU supports. Now this is beyond and beyond Rattler Nation. It supports 15,000 households through jobs, economic employment, and opportunity.
That's what I'm talking about.
It creates and brings value to local housing demand. Let me qualify it. Back in 2021, they had 6,700 students at that school. Due to efforts driving equitable initiatives to the school, that school went up to 8,500 students, and the community had nowhere for the children to stay. What did that do to the local housing market around the university? Since they're pushing children living within a 1 mile radius of the university. What's within a 1 mile radius of the university? South side, north side. It pushed housing values from an average of $142,000 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom to $217,000 per unit. Listen to me. What does that do to an owner who purchased that property at $97,000 and have been experiencing negative and regressive values all along and still investing? That boosts their equity, which boosts generational wealth. It's bigger. It's bigger. And when we talk about the alumni network of 75,000 professionals, we're also talking about millions of children of the university who align themselves with the generational and the legacy identity of the university. That's why this conversation about the power playing is so important. That's why the conversation about governance is influence on governance is so. I'm backing off my soapbox so y'all can fit. But I think that our listeners need to understand the significance. It's not just alumni nitpicking. It's not just people causing drama or polarizing. This is a real issue and a real situation about a real trajectory of a bastion of opportunity that's situated right there on the highest of 7 hills.
And then see, since you slipped off that box, let me try to climb up on that slippery soapbox.
Come on up.
Florida A&M hires more African Americans who earn 6 figures than any other entity in the state of Florida. So it's not just Southside entity. No, look at the whole state, southeastern United States. You look around, what hires more people at $100,000 and greater than Florida A&M University? It is meaningful. And we recognize this takeover, this oligarch on our board of trustees. And we're concerned that the contracts that flow out of this entity that
That part.
That- yeah,
Well,
there you
let's go back there. Okay.
$500 million enterprise annual, are these people coming to set up shop and to take and to re-steer? And if they do contracting the way they've done selection of the president, well, get ready. This is a takeover. And so the fairness of processes and the expenditures of dollars, contracts, who's going to get the next contract, even when we even bid the contract, we'll just dole them out. What will this president be told to do, made to do, or to follow? That's why this president has got to be strong, to know right from wrong, to see the lines in the middle of the road and to follow them and not get off into the weeds by bad advisement. That's the suspicion that the alumni have had, other stakeholders in the university, the purposes and interest intent in terms of the money component. So I'll go there. The foundation person that quit, don't know if it's related to incoming, don't know, but they quit the other day, last week announced it. And so who's going to take over foundation? That's money. You know, the word foundation and money means the same thing, right? Money. So this money issue and controlling $400 and some million per annum is a serious attraction to folk who don't want to do right.
Well, I want to say this.
Mhm.
For
I
somebody
should have got a standing ovation. Now, where you at?
for somebody to write something that bad about anybody that they employ, to me indicates that Dr. Beard didn't do something that he wanted.
Watch out, baby rapper. Watch out.
Not maybe just once, maybe multiple times. He
Watch
wanted
out.
him to go one way, but Dr. Beard is a man. He's an individual thinker,
Righteous man.
and he's a righteous man. He's going to go with his heart and with God. And if something's not right, he's not going to do it. He's not going to be a part of it. That's what it sounds like to me. If I take what I know about Dr. Beard in this situation, the only thing could upset him is he's not going to go against his heart. Never. But
And so, with that being said, I think Bill, you said something that is key.
Mhm.
If the president now, Marva Johnson, if she is going to have any level of success, then the people around her
Mhm.
must know that you got to make sure that nobody is directing or moving you or manipulating you
Mm.
to do things that are not in the best interest of the university, the staff, and this community in which you're in. Because as we just looked at, the biggest, I don't want to say money making, but it is, for African Americans, is right there on the eyes of 7 years. And those people in positions of power have been doing this long enough to know that if I give Proctor a contract, allegedly, and it's $2 million, then I want to know what I'm getting out of it. That is possibly some of what we may be seeing.
We call that quid pro quo. But I want to know, is Vaughn Wilson running for governor?
not a chance.
You running for governor? Tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but truth. So help.
I'm going to tell you right now, I curse too much. And it might just come at any time. God, as they say, God's not through with me yet. I pray every morning, every night. And he's just not done. So I'm not prepared to do any of that. And I'm not the kind of person that can sit and do things party-wise, race-wise, or anything that I don't believe in.
Mm.
And I think when you get in those positions, you have to do that.
Well, I think that today we are making two things known. One, we've got a lot of pastors who are definitely saying, what's our next step? Because we don't, first of all, not only was he the interim president, but he's a man of faith.
Yes.
He's a what?
He's a man of faith.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a pastor.
And he's a rattler.
Yeah.
And he's a rapper.
So what's going to be our next stance when it comes to the vice chair who've already made the comments that he's made, and he's now moving into the position of chairman?
Well, that vice chair who's going to be asked to resign and is very toxic. And I say again, as a fully grown man, as long as that person is on the board, Marva does not have a chance. Attorney Johnson tenure's going to be tenuous at best. And we just have to hope that, as you pointed out, there's a staff and a mindset strong enough to not be subsumed by the will of a board that's not willing to abide by the concerns and dictates of students, of faculty, of alumni. We've been betrayed 8-4 by this particular board, and that betrayal continues to trail into the current era of a new president. And our suspicion possibly can subside, but this particular board that's there, we need to keep our guards up, keep your dukes in there. This board can't be trusted, period. We'll try to work with this president, and this president could take some forward steps, but with this board, and if she's manipulated and consumed by them, she ain't gonna do a thing.
Well, let me just say, and piggybacking off of that, the positives of President Marva Johnson. If she is truly ingrained, as they say, in the political scene and on the conservative side, as we said, the conservative side controls everything. So if you love FAMU, you don't want her to fail. If you got common sense.
Right.
Sometimes people get emotional, and I hope this, and I hope she succeeds. Colleges across the country need as much help as they can get. So for Mother FAMU, I hope Marva Johnson will go down as one of the greatest presidents we ever had. Do I like the selection process? Not a fan of it. But now that she's there, she's ours. And our history and very existence depends on her being successful. So at some point, we're past that. She's there. She's in the seat. She's got a contract, all of that. My hope is that she does a wonderful job at FAMU and that she uses her connections to get as many resources as she possibly can for FAMU. Our teachers need raises. Our staff needs raises. Buildings need to be renovated. Technology needs to continue to be updated. More scholarships need to come into FAMU. It's a great university, but it's not perfect. We could use some help. And if aligning with her as our president allows those resources to come to our university, it's a win-win.
Amen.
Can I just say on that point that her success and everything's pointed out should be successful based upon the resources she brings. I don't believe, how we define success. And I think that on the front end, given what Gibbons said about Dr. Beard, what is he evaluating? What did you go by to say she would be a total embarrassment? That she didn't bring in 200 million, 300, 400 million? What is the measure? But I don't think that a president is measured raw on how much money they generate. We're in a time where our legislature is in an anti-DEI posture. We're in a time where money given to a minority institution, that's not the order of the day. So if she brought no new dollars, would that mean she was not successful? But the ability to bring forth the best, the excellence from the university, the excellence with caring, notwithstanding the absence of resources, can she maintain that drive, that vigor? That's why I lifted up when you have the lowest paid faculty and poor students in the state university system, and you still number 181. You got to work with what Johnny Williams got. Johnny Williams took 150-pound guard and 160-pound tackle and 135-pound quarterback, me, and we won a state championship. See, you take what God gives you, and I think that our understanding the resource that Marva has received, that she's able to make much with little, to take 2 fish and a piece of bread and continue to feed kids, open the doors, keep the doors open. Sometimes winning in an era like the one that we're in these years right here, sometimes winning is holding and maintaining just to keep it opening, keep 8,700 students coming and feeding and meeting the contract. If she does that and don't lose any steps. That's what Vaughn is praising today, and Dr. Beard. We did
Mhm.
not go backwards. We did not lose. There were no casualties. We didn't lose anything. And I think that in this climate, we shouldn't raise the bar that a single little black lady can do all of this. But if she simply maintains the good name, we stay at number 81, we stay number 1 at HBCU. She's in a great place, man. She ain't
Wow.
coming to no ranky-danky place. She's number 1 in the HBCU world, man. She's at a high point, you know what I mean? Jesus.
And as we get ready to wrap up, I believe it's all of our sentiments, and I think Vaughn said this earlier, that let's keep education at the forefront. Keep education at the forefront, embrace her, and if the right people surround her, and I think you said it as well, even if you just maintain, I mean, there's a level of success.
Maintain. You still be number 1.
Still
You
be number
maintain
one.
where you at, you're gonna be number 1 next year.
And I think it has to have, I mean, the biblical point. Now, you got to have some Aarons and to your side who can understand the importance of really holding up your arms and not pushing down your arms as if they are in control of your arms.
Mhm.
But we want to hold your arms up so that you can win. Man, look, I think it'd be a great opportunity for us to put together a small think tank and have a sit down with our newly president. I was there on Monday for the prayer to pray with her for that. And the scripture that God gave me was, as Moses left off the scene, as Dr. Beard is left off the scene, Joshua is coming. Take on that role of Joshua. God said, what? Have I not commanded you? Be strong. Be encouraged and know that I'm with you. I think minds like ours should be able to sit down and share our thoughts, our ideas, to see how do we maintain, as opposed to having people who are figuring out how to manipulate and how to do what we just seen happen. Because if they did it for one, and 9 times out of 10, your day is going to come. But let's avoid that and put that firewall up. I think that's the key.
Well, in the spirit of Joshua, I don't know about y'all, but as for me and my house, we're going to stand with Florida A&M University.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Hey, with that being said, Christine,
I'm gonna say what Dr. Beard said last week. The best thing you can do for FAMU and the family community now is to stay positive, post positive. Don't get overrun with negativity. Support the university, support the Alumni Association, support the students. Hold fast to what is true. And so that's what I'm gonna do.
wow. With that being said, it's been another Hey,
Wait, Doc, where my music at, Doc? Come on, bro. Give me something. Hey,
I don't know if
I ain't
it's
coming back to y'all show no more. Hey, where's my paycheck?
I want.
We don't have paid promotional guests on the
Go ahead,
grade.
go ahead.
I do want to say one thing. That was the second worst thing that happened this week. The 2 young men we lost in Houston.
Yeah.
Hurts my heart.
Yeah.
2 young men who defied so many odds to go through and graduate college. It hurt my heart really, because working in and around the campus, one of those guys looked really, really familiar to me. You know, so I just want us to keep those families in our prayers, because it was a horrific thing that happened. It was a drunk driver situation. So let's keep those families and those young men in our prayers.
absolutely. Hey, listen, with the few minutes that we have left, we already on overtime. With the few minutes that we have left, Monday, pastors, those of you who are listening, tell your pastors, Monday, tell them what's happening.
We're going to have a meeting on Monday about the fire services fee of the city of Tallahassee. If you're paying fire services fee and you want to find out how not to, the process to secure a waiver of the fire services fee, we're going to be at the Primitive Baptist Enrichment Center on Monday, 6 p.m. Commissioner Jeremy Matlow is going to be the keynote speaker to walk us through the processes. Attorney Courtney will be there as an observer, and Brother Jones will be there as an observer. Not Daryl Jones, but a former employee of the city, Jones. And we want to help you to disconnect from paying fire services fee.
Okay, that's Monday, at
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. That's at the New Enrichment Center. Hey, make plans to be there. You need to get out there to find out more information because knowledge is power. And therefore, with that, hey, it's been another great show.
This was awesome.
Until next week, thank all of you who joined us on social media and our virtual platforms. Until next week, you stay tuned to who's coming.
Oh, we got to get some.
Hey, thank you all so much for
Oh,
joining
no,
us.
that was
Great.
good. That was
That was
good.
great.
That's perfect that Dr. Beard too.